I'm finally back with a what we read this month. Actually, we're going to call it a what we read lately because I did not read all these books this month. But I'm going to share all the books that I've read lately. I'll let you know if I liked it or if I didn't like it, what my rating was. And yeah, I'm really excited. I've got a bunch of books to share with you guys. So if you want to hear what I've been reading, then stay tuned. So first of all, you may notice, and you might be sad about this, we are missing someone. Usually my little sidekick here, my oldest daughter, sits in with me on these videos and shares what she read this month or what she's read lately, but she really hasn't read anything lately. I mean, except for what's been assigned to her for school. I think she's just been in a reading slump lately, and I was like, are you ready to do a video to tell me what you've read? And she's like, I haven't read anything. So she is not here today, but I have actually read quite a few. I've got 6 books to share with you. So let's get started. Okay, I'm gonna try to do this quicker than I usually do because I probably usually give too much detail. So I'm gonna try to give you like a little summary and what I thought and then move on. So this is not a 90-minute video. Start the clock. So first one I'm going to share that we read, and my daughter actually read this too. I kind of wish she was in here to talk about it with me because we both read it for our literature class for co-op, but I wanted to share with you guys because it was awesome. The Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis. I'll put a picture up here if you have not read it yet. This book was amazing. I have never read this book, and it's one of those things that I've heard of forever, and I don't know why I've never read it, but I haven't. That's one of the books that I chose to use for my literature class at our co-op, which my daughter is in with me. And we actually, I have an assignment, like a final project for each book that they have to do. And this one, rather than being a final project, it was actually a project that we did throughout the whole quarter when we read the book, was to annotate the book. And none of them had actually ever really annotated a book before. And I've done it like here and there, but this was the first time that I think I've only really annotated nonfiction, and this was the first time I'd annotated fiction. So it was really fun. It was very interesting. My rating that I would give this book would definitely be a 5 out of 5. It was so good. I think it was very challenging spiritually. And it was something that I feel like it helped me understand. I mean, I've been saved. I'm old. I'm over 40, okay? So I've been saved since I was 6. So I've been a Christian for a long time. And I've never really grasped the, how do I put it, intensity of the spiritual warfare that is going on beneath our noses or above us or around us or below us, like everywhere. And it was just so interesting because so if you don't know the premise of C.S. Lewis's Screwtape Letters, it follows these 2 demons, and they're like just writing letters back and forth. We only see one side of it. So this one guy, Wormwood, is writing letters to his nephew and he's like a new demon. And at first I'm like, oh, this is kind of creepy, but it's actually like, I mean, they're working hard. And that's what was kind of eye-opening to me, was we always think of the spiritual side of what God's doing and how God's working. And, people talk about his angels and things like that. And we don't think as much about how hard the devil is working to get us, to trap us, to trip us up. And that's what this book was all about. They find the person's weakness. He's got like a project, like, hey, you're assigned to Toni, and you have to try to make her mess up. And this is how you can do it. And the uncle, who's been a demon for a long time, he knows like the tricks of the trade, and he tries to help him. And anyway, it's totally backwards, and you have to like flip your mind to think about, it's just total opposite. Like, where in this book, God is the enemy. So they actually refer to him as the enemy, and Satan is the master. But it was very interesting. Super, super good book, and heavy at times. There were some times, this was with high schoolers, but there were some points where, obviously some of the sins that can trip you up can be a little uncomfortable to talk about. But it was just very eye-opening. I think it was really, really good. I think every Christian needs to read it to just see how hard Satan's working and how much harder you need to just work to stay on your toes and to make sure you're following the Lord. So it was awesome. 5 out of 5. Loved it. The second one that I read was also with co-op, and that was The Hobbit by Tolkien. And I have watched the movie before, My daughter, so she also read this with me. She read it before a couple years ago for like a literature class, an online literature class. And it was really cool. I didn't read the book with her, but I watched the movie. But this time reading the book, it was really interesting. It was very cool. And most of it, some of it I read, a lot of it I did on audiobook. There's this YouTube, if I can link it, I'll try to remember to link it. But this guy that does like an audio dramatization with the music and the singing, and it really made it come alive. It was really cool. It was a really fun book. I definitely think it would be a cool thing to assign if you have high schoolers, read it with them and talk about it. And we used the Progeny Press guides for co-op with both of those books. And that just helped, keep the discussion going, and it was really good. So Hobbit, I would give also 5 out of 5. And I am not normally like a fantasy reader, but I found it very interesting. I really liked it. The next one I read is actually a nonfiction book, which is Counting the Cost by Jill Duggar, or Jill, what is her new last name? But she was Jill Duggar. Now she's Jill something else. Dillard, I think. This was really interesting because I know her and her sister both had a book come out, and I'd heard, some people thought the other book was better. Some people thought this one was better. I used to watch the Duggars all the time. Like years ago, I just found them fascinating. Like when I was early on in my homeschool career, I'm like, how does this mom homeschool? It was probably like 17 kids at the time or whatever. I don't know. I always just found them fascinating. And then obviously a lot of negative things happened in their family, surrounding their family. And I didn't know the half of it. And the book really brings out a lot of it. And I don't know. I found it very interesting because I had followed this family for so long. And it was sad, to hear about. It talks about their religious upbringing and how I can't think of what the name of their like religion is. Like Christians, but they're in something. What is I don't know. You guys probably know what it is. I can't think of there's like initials for some Baptist convention, something or other, but I go to Baptist church. So I would be a Baptist too, but they're very different in the way that they believe. And it was just eye-opening. It was very interesting and sad. And I don't know. My heart breaks for that family and what they've gone through. And, I don't know. I just thought it was a good read. So I guess, I don't know what I'd rate it. It was, it's a true story, and I thought it was well written. So I'd give it maybe like a 4 out of 5. So I thought it was really good. Okay. Another one that I actually did a read with me readathon video. I'll link it above if you didn't get to see it, but it's called Julia Monroe Begins Again. Absolutely love this book. Totally different book than any other book that I've read. Because I usually am like a murder mystery, like I am just stuck in that, and that's pretty much all I read for the most part. And lately I've been trying to branch out, and this was so good. It was really, really good. It was just a romance, just a fiction. You see the relationship building between the two characters, difficult times that they go through. But overall, it was really just seeing this relationship build and seeing them get through some hard stuff. But it was funny, which I don't read funny books at all, but I just loved it. I thought it was really great. So I would definitely recommend reading that. And I did it with a book in the box with Beyond the Book Club, where they send you a box with a bunch of stuff, and then you get to open, like when you get to page 52, you open this little thing, and it had to do with what was on that page. And then you keep reading, and then you get to 99, and then you open another little like trinket or like something cool that has to do with that page. It really brought the book alive. I loved it. It was great. One of my favorite books. So that was definitely a 5 out of 5. Super loved it. The next one that I read is called The Mountain Midwife. Is very different. So this one, again, I was trying to push myself to read something a little different, and this was just fiction. And I've always been fascinated by midwives. I'm like, if I had to start over again and like find a new job, I think being a midwife would be really cool. I think it would be really neat. And hard, but maybe neat and maybe gross. I'm not sure if I could handle like the blood and the trauma and all the stuff, but I also think it could be really cool. So I've been fascinated by that. And so I was like, this sounds cool. A mountain midwife. She's like, so this lady basically is a midwife for people who either don't have insurance or live up in the mountains where, you'd think of like West Virginia. I don't even know if it's West Virginia. I don't remember where it takes place, but it was a very good book. I did like it. It was a little like slower than usual than what I'm used to, because a lot of times I read books that the action happens right away. And this one was kind of a slow build. I think it kind of had something happen in the beginning. So there was a thing that happened that was kind of like she's trying, not a murder thing, but like just, I don't want to give it away. I don't remember what's on the back of the book, but something happens with one of her patients that she's trying to help, and it kind of puts her in danger a little bit. But then after that, there's some romance going on between her and this other character, but there's a lot of characters. I struggle when there's a lot of characters. Sometimes it's hard for me to keep it straight. And I also felt like once we got past that, it was just a lot of, it wasn't as exciting as I was hoping. So it was a little bit like I would pick it up whenever I could, but it wasn't like, oh my goodness, I can't wait to get through this. It was like, okay, it just dragged a little bit, I think. So I liked it. I liked the idea of it, but I wouldn't say it was maybe fast-paced enough for me. But I guess you need to learn how to read books that are not always like on the edge of your seat, but that is what I like. So anyway, it was a really good book. I would probably give it like a 3 out of 5. I did like it. I don't know if I'd read it again. I probably would not read it again, but it was good. So it had a couple different storylines going. I just wouldn't say it was, amazing, exciting. The last book that I read, I'm still reading right now. I was hoping to get it done, but I don't have time to read. I mean, I am trying to read, like this was, what did I say? 3, this was 6 books we're talking like December, January, February, March, April, in like 5 months. I mean, you're talking like a book a month, pretty much. So this is not impressive that I read 6 books because I just haven't had time. It's so hard. Busy with homeschooling, and we run an inn, and I have kids, and my house is needs cleaned and whatever. It's just busy. So this one has not been read yet. I was really hoping to finish it by the time I filmed, but I didn't. It's called The Feathered Bone. I'll put the picture up here. Super loving this book so far, and I really want to finish it. It's about a kidnapping. A girl on a class trip disappears, and they don't know what happened. And anyway, I read on the back of the book that that's what was going to be happening. I told you guys about this in my last video because I got this at a thrift store, and I was waiting for okay, I knew this was going to happen, and it's like pages and pages and pages of describing the trip, describing the area, describing the people, describing everything that's happening. And I'm just like, when is the action going to happen? And I don't know, maybe I need to figure out how to just calm down and enjoy. But I was ready. When is something going to happen? And it was forever. I don't know. I feel like it was 75 pages or something before the girl finally got kidnapped. Once it finally happened, it was heartbreaking. It was so sad. And I was like, because it's always been one of my biggest fears is for one of my kids to get kidnapped. It's like, I've always been keeping an eye on everybody, when we're in the store and where'd she go? And I don't know, it's always been a fear of mine. So this was, so far has been kind of hard to read. Once I got to that part, it is breaking my heart. And it's her friend. It's 2 women that are best friends. Their daughters are best friends. One of the daughters goes missing. And it was the one mom, the friend, who was like, I'll watch her for you, because the mom had to leave and she was in charge of her, and then she goes missing. So if my daughter was to go missing on my best friend's watch, can you imagine how hard that would be to get over, to forgive her? And I don't know, it's really heavy. So anyway, I'm really excited to see what happens. I hope the girl, gets found, and I don't know what happens, but I think it's a lot about their grieving and getting past it and stuff like that. So I kind of don't think she's found, but I don't know. So I'm going to finish that book, and I don't know, I'll try to update you guys and finish. I didn't read it, but so far I love it. So I'm not going to give it a rating because I'm only not quite halfway through the book yet, but that's all I've read this month. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I tried to do it a little speedy. How long did I take? I don't know. I'm not really sure, but I don't think it was too long. Yay. Give me a thumbs up if you think I did a good job. If it's not 90 minutes long, then give me a thumbs up, please, because I tried to be quicker this time. If you guys have any recommendations of a good, clean Christian book that you have read lately that you think I would like, please leave it in the comments below. I always need suggestions. I love having ideas from you guys who've read books. So next month, that girl is going to be in this video with me, and she's going to have read a bunch of books like she used to do. We'll get her out of that reading slump one way or another. So we're almost done with school, so then we'll have some free time. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget to subscribe if you are not yet subscribed. We do reading, we do thrifting, we do homeschool, mom life, all the stuff. So if you like that kind of stuff, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.